What's going on YouTube? It's Tej back again with another video. Today I'm giving you my picks for week 9 of the NFL season. Excited to bring this video to you. Hopefully you all enjoy, and if you do, hit that like button. It would help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, like what you saw with more football content like this, hit that big red subscribe button and comment your picks for the week down in the comment section. We are predicting winners. We will talk a little spread, so whether you want to talk about who's going to win a certain matchup or you want to talk about spread and some of the lines, love to talk some football with you down in the comment section, so give me your thoughts down below. Let's jump right into it. Actually, first, went 9-6 last week, and overall in the season, 85-48. So, pretty decent mark. We are just picking winners, so it's a little easier than talking ATS, but overall, not too bad for my record this year. Trying to improve that. Starting with Thursday Night Football, I got the Colts over the Jets, right? I think we all do. Despite Mike White looking pretty good last week, I think a lot of that success comes from the Bengals just having a poor week of tackling and allowing the Jets to rack up a lot of yards after the catch. And that's not always going to happen, right? So I'll take Indianapolis, say they have a little bit more sound defensive approach. Matt Eberflus coaches that group really well, so I'll take the Colts, plus they're at home. If we're talking spread, 10 points is a lot, so maybe then you go to the Jets, but even then I still might go with Indianapolis. Feels like kind of like a natural letdown for New York. On to Cleveland and Cincinnati. I think I'm taking the Bengals. This is kind of crazy for me to say because especially coming off a week where the Bengals just lost to the Jets, who I was just slandering. But I just don't know what to expect with this Cleveland team. OBJ is essentially off the roster. Okay. That's weird and perplexing in its own right. But Baker Mayfield, what's going on there? You know, how healthy is the backfield, the secondary, the defense overall, right? A lot of those nagging injuries, I think, could play a factor in this one, and Baker overall just hasn't played all that well this year, and the OBJ drama just surrounding this team feels like it might, stir the pot enough to where it looms over that organization, and that just plays in the hands of Cincinnati. Plus, the spread's at 2.5, so you're not getting that key number in 3. I would go with Cincinnati on both respects there. We get to Dallas and Denver. I'm taking Dallas at home. 3 consecutive home favorites. No shocker there. Dallas just a better football team. And 9 points might not be enough, honestly. Especially considering Dak Prescott's a full go at practice. I would feel pretty comfortable betting the Cowboys in this one. We get to the Dolphins and Houston. I'm gonna take Miami. If we're talking spread, I'd probably lean Houston there. 6.5 points. I don't think there's that much of a difference between these two teams. Davis Mills hasn't been great. Tua's been not terrible over the past couple of weeks. Maybe a step backwards last week. But I'm really hoping this is a opportunity for Miami to get closer to who we thought they were coming into the season. I don't think they'll make a playoff push, and I thought they'd be in that discussion coming into the season. But they have been a big disappointment in a lot of different areas. I'm hoping they use this Houston game at home to try to get right. I want to see Tua play better. I want to see that offensive line finally figure something out right. Houston just traded Charles Omenihu to the 49ers, so they're already down one of their more productive pass rushers, despite not fitting in that scheme all that well. I think this is a chance for Miami to have a good, sound game, get some confidence, and play better football moving forward. So I'll take the Dolphins at home. Saints and Falcons. I'm taking the Saints to win. Again, if we were talking spread, I'd go with Atlanta there. There's just not that much of a disparity between these two teams, given that Trevor Siemian is under center for New Orleans. This is Jameis Winston. I feel pretty confident going with the 6 points with New Orleans, but if it was Jameis Winston, this number is probably closer to 9 or somewhere thereabout. So I'll take New Orleans to win at home. They've been pretty good there so far this year, and they also have a knack for being able to create pressure. Marcus Davenport's had a pretty good season, and we know what happens when Matt Ryan feels pressure. He shrivels up, and things get a little tough there for that Falcons offense. Also, no Calvin Ridley, so missing a dynamic playmaker. Kyle Pitts could cause New Orleans some problems just because he can be moved around so much, but it'll be interesting to see if Marshawn Lattimore is tasked to try to keep up with Pitts if he's on the outside. I'm interested by that, but overall, I just think the Saints are a better football team despite having a weaker quarterback in this one. Raiders and Giants, I'm sticking with the favorites. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch it here. I'm going to go home underdogs. I'm going to go back to the Raiders. Sorry, I'm changing my mind back and forth. There is just so much going on with the Raiders off the field right now. And I'll take this moment to, if you are one of my viewers, you've probably heard this 1,000 times anyways. Whether you're 21 or not, do not drink and drive. My older brother passed away in a car accident. There wasn't even any alcohol involved in that incident. Driving is just dangerous in its own right. And I think we kind of take that for granted, given how simple and easy it has become in the modern world. But there is a natural danger element to anytime you get behind the wheel. And then if you have been drinking or just anything, really, anything that keeps you non-sober, it makes it that much harder. So please do not get behind the wheel of a vehicle if you are not completely ready to go, not sober, not able to take on that task. So obviously the Henry Ruggs situation kind of put the dark light over the off-field situations, and it's been a tough year as it is for the Raiders in that regard. But they are a better football team than the Giants, and it's just one of those spots where I want to take the Giants. I want to go with the upset pick. They are at home, but they aren't favored in this one. But the offensive line has just been so bad, and the Raiders have improved that pass rush so much. And then once you get pressure on Daniel Jones, that's when you start to get an ability to press his turnover button, right? You get the fumbles, you increase your likelihood to get picks, plus the playmakers aren't completely healthy. The defense has been a little better the past couple of weeks in regards to the Giants specific. Their pass rush has gotten a little better over the past couple of weeks, so that could create problems. And really, if the Giants win this game, it's because their pass rush is fantastic, and it forces Derek Carr to feel uncomfortable. And I think there's a chance that happens. I don't want to rule it out, and that's why I wanted to go with the upset pick here. Despite Patrick Graham being a good defensive coordinator, I don't know if he'll have enough answers to slow down Derek Carr for the Giants offense to then be able to step up and cover and be able to pick up enough points to win. So because of that, gotta have points to score and to win, right? So I'll go with the Raiders despite everything that's going on away from the field. Patriots and Panthers. I'll go Patriots. 3.5 points. It's tough to get that key number of 3. Maybe if we're talking spread, I'd go Carolina. But outright, I'll take New England. Big win last week. So now I do worry, now you're on the road and there could be a natural letdown as you take out Carolina and a former player in Stephon Gilmore. Be interested to see how he's received pregame from his former teammates and coaching staff and everything thereabout. But the Patriots are a better football team. They have a better quarterback with Mac Jones compared to Sam Darnold. So all that to say, I am confident that the Patriots can win this one on the road. Bills, Jags, they can't make the spread big enough, honestly. This is one where I wouldn't mind if it ballooned out to a college number of, 20 plus. But 14.5 points, give me the Bills to win, give me the Bills to cover. The Jags are they're down bad right now. Plus, the Bills' defense is really good. They're going to play a lot of cover 2. They're going to make it tough for Trevor Lawrence. He struggled against those cover 2 too high looks. So I think it could be another rough day for Trevor Lawrence until, late in the game he makes a couple throws that make you go, wow. He seems to have the ability to do that. Vikings and Ravens, I think this game will be close. So if we're talking spread, I would go with Minnesota to cover the spread. But if we're talking winners, give me Baltimore. I just think Minnesota's, I don't know how to really describe it, their passive nature. They just seem to be afraid to take shots and consistently feed Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen some weeks now. Is that going to be the case this week? I don't know yet. I think they have an advantage to try to pick on that secondary for Baltimore, right? You have Marlon Humphrey, who's one of the best in the game, but on the other side, there's an advantage for whoever is trying to defend one of either Adam Thielen or Justin Jefferson, no matter who it is. It's an advantage for Minnesota trying to take advantage of that. But also, Wink Martindale does a great job scheming up pressure, and the Vikings offensive line and Christian Darrisaw in specifics look pretty good the past couple of weeks, but he's a young tackle, and overall the rest of the offensive line isn't all that good. So if Wink Martindale is able to come up with some creative blitz pressures and blitz looks, I could see that causing Minnesota a lot of problems, and Kirk Cousins is not a mobile guy who's going to escape the pocket and be able to elude those pass rushers. So because of that, I think that is going to be one of the key differences in this one. I'll take the Ravens at home. Chargers and Eagles. Lions down at 2.5 points. That's kind of wild. Got a bit of fall for grace for the Chargers. They lose, they go in the bye, and then they lose. So, the buzz has certainly started to simmer down on this LA team. I think they get back on track. Big road win here. I will say the Eagles are an interesting team in this matchup because they just have a lot of veterans on defense. You hear me say this every week. They can get after the quarterback, and when you can do that, you naturally just feel like you give yourself a chance to win week in and week out. And Jalen Hurts, with that rushing ability, gives you a good enough floor. Plus, LA is not a team that has stopped the run at an effective rate. And last week we saw, despite no Miles Sanders, Nick Sirianni really buy in to using that rushing attack. Hurts only throws the ball 17 times. You saw a whole lot of Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Jalen Hurts using his legs. And if that's the case again this week, then we could be talking. But I'll take the Chargers to win and 2.5 points. You're not getting that key number 3. I'll take the Chargers to cover the spread as well. And this number has changed a whole lot. At first, I thought it was crazy that Kansas City was favored by 1 when the line first opened. And now you have the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, saying he's immunized, not vaccinated. That's a whole different discussion and something I'll leave you all to have your own opinion on, and I'll keep mine to myself. But Kansas City, 7.5 points. I'll take them to win. It's tough, another key number in 7. But Patrick Mahomes versus Jordan Love, that's a huge QB disparity. That said, if you're a Packers fan, I don't know the injury status or the COVID status for Davante Adams or Allen Lazard as of the time we're recording this Thursday morning. If those guys are back, I'm a big fan of Jordan Love. And as big of a difference as there is between Pat Mahomes and Jordan Love, there was a pretty big difference between Patrick Mahomes and Daniel Jones, right? And that game was decided by 3 points. So, if Adams comes back, Lazard comes back, you could be looking at a situation where Love gets it done and is able to cover the spread. I don't know if they'll win, but they could be able to cover the spread. But I'll take the Chiefs to cover and to win. Really interested by that game, especially if Kansas City continues to turn the football over. They could keep the door open for Green Bay to make it interesting. 49ers and Cardinals. Cardinals coming off a loss. 49ers fresh off of I don't want to say a huge win over Chicago, but a big win nonetheless, trying to right the ship. Second meeting, Cardinals took the first. I'm going to go with San Francisco. This is my first upset pick. I am taking a home team here, but they aren't the team favored. And I've been very chalky throughout this video so far, and that makes me really uncomfortable, uneasy. So I'm going to lean with San Francisco here. I almost took the 49ers the first time these two teams played, but I think Kyle Shanahan's going to start figuring things out. Keep in mind, Elijah Mitchell has been getting the football a whole lot since these two teams faced each other, and going back to the first meeting between these two teams, I wanted to see Elijah Mitchell get the football more. I wanted to see Trey Lance use his legs more. So I think Kyle Shanahan has started to shift his offensive game plan, trying to use Mitchell and those running backs a little bit more to then set up pass plays for Deebo Samuel. And you even saw Brandon Ayuk a little bit more last week. Jimmy Garoppolo's been fine, but naturally I think this is going to be when you start to see the decline of Arizona. Now, I know I'm going to probably ruffle some feathers, no pun intended, but Arizona, despite starting the year undefeated, had some luck behind that, right? They had some numbers that are going to start to regress. That defense was outperforming without a doubt. So now they're on the road taking on a team I think is pretty close to even. If you just look at these two teams on paper and you account for the head coaches as well and the schemes and philosophies within the offenses and defenses, I think these two teams are pretty close to one another. So despite a difference in record, I think San Francisco at home is able to come away with a big win. The Cardinals dropped 2 in a row. We got the Rams, we got the Titans. I'd love to go with Tennessee here, be a contrarian, but no Derrick Henry. Julio Jones is questionable again. Really regretting taking him in fantasy 2 years in a row in my main fantasy league, but that's another talk for another day. The Rams are just a better football team. And Matt Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, those two have both done a lot to try to elevate those offenses just with different circumstances around them. But at this point, without Derrick Henry, now the question is, like, how good is Tannehill on his own compared to how good he was when that Titans offense had a difference maker like Derrick Henry, who's just a different running back, right? He breaks all the rules that we've come to know with the running back position. And how much did that help Tannehill? We're going to find out this week. A.J. Brown's been playing fantastic, which I do feel good about. But A.J. Brown's a very physical wide receiver, and he's a good, young, talented guy. But Jalen Ramsey on the other side feels like it negates that. So especially if Julio Jones is not playing in this game, I feel pretty confident with the Rams coming away as the victor, right? If you were going to pick on the Rams, they're not great with the inside linebacking group, and they don't stop the run all that well outside of, Aaron Donald's a freak, and he can do a lot of different things. But if they had Derrick Henry, I think this game is obviously a very different story. But no Derrick Henry, potentially no Julio Jones. I'll take the Rams at home. And I'll take them to cover the spread at 7.5 points, despite it being that key number. And we get to Monday Night Football. I'm going to be at this game, my first Steelers game. I am beyond pumped up. I have to take the Steelers to win. I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to take them to cover 2. Now, stepping aside from my Steelers bias, the Bears are a solid team, and Pittsburgh over the years has had problems containing rushing quarterbacks, right? We've seen Lamar Jackson have some big games against us. We've also seen Lamar Jackson turn the football over, which if you're a Steelers fan, you're hoping that translates again this week. But 6 points is it's a fair amount of points considering these two teams really don't feel that far apart, right? Good defenses. I think the Steelers have a better defense, but they also have a quarterback who is not going to continue to get better like Justin Fields is, right? This could be the week where Fields really puts together. They have a great game plan for him, and he balls out, right? That's a potential. That's not going to happen for Pittsburgh, right? Big Ben is who he is at this point, and he'll throw some pretty passes. He's still got a nice spiral, but he's just not going to push the ball that far down the field. They're going to try to get the ball out quick. But I'm going to take the Steelers at home, primetime football. And in specific, this is a spot where Mike Tomlin probably puts together a really nice game plan. He always seems to have big games and garners a lot of credit on these primetime stages. And part of that's just primetime feels like you talk about the coaches a little bit more, but I think Mike Tomlin's going to have this team ready to go, and that's going to be a big talking point throughout this game. And again, keep in mind, this is a Pittsburgh team that under Coach Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing record. And this is one of those games where you have to have it. If you're going to continue that streak, and Mike Tomlin's going to pass Marty Schottenheimer for the longest streak of non-losing seasons to start a career as a head coach, this is one of the games that he's going to have. So I think all that builds up. Pittsburgh wins. And you know what? I'll take them to cover the 6-point spread. That's going to do it for my Week 9 NFL picks. Tell me who you have winning down in the comment section. Let's also talk some betting if you're interested in talking about these lines and maybe some upset picks for the week. Love to have your thoughts. Love to talk some football with you down in the comment section. Hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button. It really would help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more football content like this in your life, just hit that big red subscribe button. That's going to do it for today's video. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, my name is Tej, and I'm signing off.